The whistleblower complaint has blown up the news cycle, but to really digest what's going on here, you have to understand the key players and how they're involved. And I'll warn you, there are a lot of them. But let's start with the person at the epicenter of all of this. July 25th, 2019, President Trump has a phone call with Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky. He seems to press Zelensky to investigate his potential 2020 rival, Joe Biden, and his son, Hunter. 1 month later, an anonymous CIA employee files the whistleblower complaint. It claims that multiple government officials are concerned that Trump is using his presidential power to pressure foreign governments to interfere in the election. Trump, of course, has disputed that report.
I don't care about politics, but I do care about corruption. And this whole thing is about corruption.
But this barely scratches the surface of who's who in this whole thing. So let's break down the cast of characters that you should be paying attention to, starting with Hunter Biden. In 2014, Hunter Biden joins the board of a controversial Ukrainian energy company called Burisma Holdings. It comes under the scrutiny of Ukrainian officials, like Prosecutor General Viktor Shokin. He was in charge of investigating corruption cases, but a lot of Western leaders didn't think he was doing such a good job at that and wanted him removed, including then Vice President Joe Biden. Trump allies are claiming these three are connected, and Joe Biden pushed for Shokin's removal to help his son, which Biden denies.
You should be looking at Trump. Trump's doing this because he knows I'll beat him like a drum.
Shokin gets replaced by Yuri Lutsenko. He's mentioned 18 times in the whistleblower complaint. He was the one that initially cast a lot of suspicion around the Bidens, but recently he actually walked back those claims. But today, Ukraine's new prosecutor general announced they will review past investigations into wealthy Ukrainian businessmen. The founder of Burisma Holdings is named in one of those cases. But just to be super clear here, there is no evidence of any wrongdoing by either Hunter or Joe Biden. But this hasn't stopped Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, from pushing this false narrative. He talked to Lutsenko several times and became determined that the Bidens need to be investigated. And if you look at the whistleblower complaint, it names Giuliani a, quote, central figure in trying to influence Ukraine. Fast forward to this week and Congress subpoenas Giuliani, but cooperation doesn't seem very likely since he suggested a lawsuit against House Democrats. Now, Giuliani claims he was encouraged to speak with Ukrainian officials by Kurt Volker. He was the U.S. Special Envoy to Ukraine until he resigned last week. But the whistleblower complaint paints a different picture. It says that Volker tried to, quote, contain the damage to national security inflicted by Giuliani. And on Thursday, Volker testified before Congress and turned over text messages that do indeed show he pushed Ukraine to investigate the Bidens. Ahead of the July phone call, Volker texted a top Ukrainian aide, quote, assuming President Z convinces Trump he will investigate/get to the bottom of what happened in 2016, we will nail down date for visit to Washington. And that brings us to Kurt Volker's former boss, Mike Pompeo. He evaded questions about the Ukraine call until this past Wednesday.
As for was I on the phone call, I was on the phone call.
And now House Democrats have subpoenaed Pompeo for documents pertaining to Ukraine. Democrats also say they'll subpoena the White House this week, and that will be directed to Trump's acting chief of staff, Mick Mulvaney. Not long before the July phone call, Trump allegedly told Mulvaney to withhold nearly $400 million in military aid to Ukraine. Trump did acknowledge this, but his reasoning wasn't exactly clear.
If you don't talk about corruption, why would you give money to a country that you think is corrupt?
And this all gets even more complicated thanks to Vice President Mike Pence. The Washington Post reported that Trump allegedly used Mike Pence to tell Ukraine about the stalled aid, while also pushing them to take more action against corruption. To this, the White House said that Pence was just trying to deliver Trump's anti-corruption message overseas. And finally, here's someone whose role still has some question marks: Attorney General William Barr. What we do know is Trump suggested that Zelensky talk to Rudy Giuliani and William Barr on that phone call. But some say there could be more to this story, especially after the Washington Post reported that he asked foreign officials for their help in a Justice Department inquiry that Trump hopes will discredit any possible connections between Russia and the Trump campaign during 2016. So this is what we know now, and these are the players currently involved. Now, as things develop, more faces could be added here, and we almost certainly will learn more about all of these key players and their involvement. So bear with us, and we'll keep you posted.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.